Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Captain of Industry. Well, it's Ensign Ghost or Sailor Ghost reporting in. The save is bricked. Oh boy. Um, so the series is over. I am ending it. But it was a fun time. I tell you, I really like this game a lot. It's really challenging. Obviously, it was a challenge from the start, you know. So, yeah, let's go over some things. First of all, what bricked it? Let's just do a few things off screen. And uranium ran out, and we kind of knew this was happening in the last episode. I think I kind of covered it. Yeah. Well, the boat went and got 152 uranium, but there's no power to unload it. So once the uranium ran out over here, then this shut down, and there's not enough solar to kind of bootstrap it up, you know. And it'd be nice. You know what? I just noticed there's no way to recover this at all. I mean, I can't even do Unity on this, which I thought was kind of interesting. So you would think that you could do Unity on this to get the power going, because once you get on ships, you should be able to Unity this so you can unload your product, you know, because this could be the difference between you continuing on and not, you know. There's an adjustment that I could have made if I had known. First off, increasing that, this would have got me 12 every minute. And then since we're not, oh wait, get out of the way. That would have dropped me down to a half unity there to make up for this. Why is it going over there? That increased 0.3. This decreased by 25 people. This increased. Why is it going over there? This increased by 25. So that would have adjusted that. And then I could have maybe upgraded that uranium mine. This would have been a half unity, 25 people. And then I could have maybe upgraded this to a little more. Or I could have started at the other one here. You know. So there were some adjustments I could have made, but it was too late by then. I was like, oh, what? So anyway, let's go over some things here. Things I learned and could have done better, and maybe some suggestions for the game too. Being, you know, kind of into this game, maybe over 250 hours, I do have some, some suggestions. So yeah, Sailor Ghost, here we go. So yeah, I think the main thing was I was able to skip solar in my easy mode save. So I wasn't under the mindset that I needed it. And then as I started to notice the coal was running out very quickly, being in, having less resources, because in the easy mode you get 20% more of everything. Once I started chewing through this coal, I should have been getting on solar a lot quicker. But once we unlocked solar, I should have been punching it down. Again, it's 2020 hindsight. But knowing that now, that's something we would do in another playthrough. The other thing was single-use boats. In some cases like this one where, I had to learn, we're only using, 6 coal versus 24. So it's 4 times the amount of coal for our arc furnace here, for our silicon poly. Oh, let's unpause it, by the way. I should have went with a double one of these at least, 2 silicon, 1 water, 1 coal, 2 silicon, maybe the rest oil. Yeah. So I could have got a big beefy guy, you know, in here. So I think, and I added sulfur after that too, because that was a pinch actually, because I was like, oh no, I'm running out of stuff. Our statue's still standing? Yeah, for now. So yeah, single-use boats. It worked out really well with wood. And even this worked out pretty well once we got weaned off of coal a little bit with the solar. Because as we got solar implemented, the coal burn did go down considerably because solar takes over from, I think it takes precedent. Just like coal takes precedent over diesel burning, solar takes precedent over steam, which is another thing that we had to learn was I had to have a check valve. If you're going to have solar and nuclear power running together, you need that steam check valve, because I found that it was over, you know, the steam wasn't getting consumed. So this thing was was leaking. And I had to have a recording to figure that out. You know, I let the game run. I did a safety save and let it run and recorded so I could just go right to where it started to fail. And I had this interface open. And I started to notice, oh, the steam is going up and up and up. Why? You know, and oh yeah, I guess the solar takes over, you know, takes precedent over this. So once I learned that, check valve time. There we go. Ooh, excuse me. So what else do we got here? Fertilizer 1 and 2 it's one of my kind of complaints. I want to preface this by saying that maybe there's something I'm missing, or because I didn't get to the end game with contracts, there might be something I'm missing. But and we'll speak on the contracts for this too. Based on what I experienced, it seems like fertilizer 2 should have the ammonia, and then fertilizer 1 should have the sulfur. So you flip those two, and I think it would be balanced with the amount of, you know, because you're not getting contracts right away. It's going to take you a little while to get on those. And, you know, you need Unity. You need to spend Unity on that. So it would seem like that, you know, you have sulfur and you start processing, and, you know, you get the sulfur mines, you know, you're able to start getting sulfur from the diesel, you know, cracking process and all that. So I don't know, and, you know, I don't think the devs are going to listen or anything like that. And if I go on the Discord, they'll just go, "What? Who's this guy?" But it seems like the requirement for ammonia is a little too rough for the first stage, because by at this point you're not on contracts, you're nowhere near it. And it takes so much people and power to get the ammonia, because you know, you need hydrogen, and all the hydrogen, as you may have seen if you're following along, all the hydrogen is pretty much needed for your diesel processing and stuff. Now, if we look at this thing here, if I did another diesel build and maybe work the numbers a little bit more, we do get quite a bit of hydrogen here. So that could be what I needed to do. But how many oil builds do you think I got? You know, I mean, how much oil do I need to process? You know, like, so basically I have to take this whole process and crack it and get hydrogen out of it, you know. So oil to hydrogen, I guess maybe that's what they're looking for us to do. And then we use the contracts to supplement that, you know, or take it over. Because if you look at the contracts, they really aren't that lucrative for this. I think this one, I think it's this one here. No. Where is that one where we get, where is that one at? That's that one. Is it this one? Yeah, here it is. So now, you know, let's say we ran a 2 module. For 178 slag, we're getting 72 lousy sour water. and you have to pay half a unity for that. Not only that, but it's 24 to establish. 72. And look at the amount of crap we have to do here. 72 unity is still 2 of these if it was frequent enough. Maybe I could scale this down to 1, but that's not enough to do farming. So I don't know where, how am I going to get 8 modules, 1,068 a slag, I mean, that would be great. Significant amount right there. But as you go through the game, you're going to be losing, you're taking your pollution, you're processing it, and it's turning into slag, but it gets less as you go, because when you get in arc furnaces, I think it drops. But again, I would have to explore this more and get into the end game and get into contracts more to understand it. But it seems like that the ammonia process seems to be a little bit more end game than mid game placement. So, but that's just my take as of right now. So, but yeah, I think if they swap those two, it might be great. But then again, maybe I'm doing something wrong and I didn't capitalize on the hydrogen coming out of the oil build or something. So, and then, yeah, so speaking of like contracts and things, this one here, by the way, I should have deleted it. I didn't realize this. I was playing around after the save bricked. I could have just deleted this, and since there's no fluid in here, it's, this thing processed it all out of here, so it was gone. But I could have got rid of this and went with a cargo ship of 2, and it would have saved a little bit of fuel. But at this point, it didn't really matter. It was about people at this point. But I could have deleted that, and then once you delete these modules here, I could have deleted this thing and repurposed or readjusted this with a 2-bay cargo ship. So, oops, And so, keeping on the cargo ship thing for a little bit here, I really would like to see the ability to upgrade from a 4 to a 6 bay cargo ship module. I don't understand why they chose to do it this way. If you take an 8 and you look at the footprint, you can see that it's the same footprint. You can look at the lines there, the red lines, and you can see that it's the same size. So I don't understand, and I think it really doesn't help the player by forcing them to rip up a 4 to put an 8 in. Completely, you have to completely drain this out, and then pop an 8 in there. Whereas there doesn't seem to be any restriction with that footprint, that green bar, red bar thing, it was red bars because it was being placed over. But it doesn't seem like there's any restriction there. So why is it that we can't upgrade from a 4 to a 6? Because, once you put these on the shoreline, chances of you ripping them out are it screws you up. Your whole base is dependent on this ship running. So the only way around it is, what I did here was putting these cases out here. But if you put these cases here, now you have to reposition this somehow. And remember way back a couple episodes ago, whatever it was, trying to repurpose this to get the coal and the wood out of here, or expand the coal to 2, because I had the big one and the small one, and then the wood, and it was hanging up on unloading wood or coal or whatever it was. I think I was running out of wood or something. In order to get this established to all wood, and this one established to coal and water, it was a big pain in the butt. I had to figure out how to move this around and all that. Oh my god, it was horrible. So I think that restriction, it just doesn't seem to make sense as to why they have it there. I think they could easily program that in. It's a game. You can do whatever you want, But, like I said, no one's going to listen if I go on the Discord. So it's just me expressing some frustrations with the game, I guess. And things that I think they could do. Making the fertilizer 1 a little bit easier in the beginning, getting into mid-game, and then make Fert 2 harder with the ammonia and having to get on a contract or use your slag, either use your slag to make the ammonia. I think you could use, well, you can't use, yeah, you'd have to, yeah, because it's basically contracts at that point. Rubber, I have a little pipe dream about rubber. Oh my god, look at all this now. Not enough Unity. Oh, 0.97, yeah. I just had a thought about rubber. I think that it's far too dependent on oil processing, which, you know, like, look at this. You got naphtha, diesel, and you're not going to use valuable diesel for that after you get out of beginning game. So you're relying on naphtha now. And then the only alternative to that is building a massive sugar farm, because ethanol is from sugar or corn mash. So, you know, of course you're going to go with, you know, the 6 one here, you know, which is sugar. Now, sugar is kind of easy to get, but the footprint for it is quite large. And it's basically it's 24 sugar, 24 oxygen for 12 ethanol to match this, you know, here. Granted, rubber isn't running at a massive rate. It's not a massive clip, you know, but it is your maintenance. So it'd be nice to see something that's maybe more organic that you could do that isn't, well, plant-based, you know, maybe something else. But, you know, again, I don't know. It just seems like the rubber you're kind of pigeonholed into just using petroleum. But, I mean, I could take it or leave it. I'm just like, there must be I wonder if they could do something better. Something a little more endgame to kind of get you away from the petroleum or farming, or, you know, just have a better recipe overall for endgame, at least for endgame. But again, I don't know. It's just a pipe dream. I was looking at this and I go, man, you know, if my diesel isn't consumed, my rubber suffers. So I'd have to make a sugar farm to supplement that, you know, and you're not going to build a farm right next to your diesel because of space constraints and things and all that. So I don't know. It just seems kind of interesting to kind of, you know, ponder over. So let's see here. Overall, so one of the things that I did really enjoy, I do enjoy the farming a lot. I think it was fun. I think that there's some things that I need to, you need to jump on that FERT 1, and figure that out, basically. You know, get on it, get your farms up and better. Hopefully you have enough where you can reduce your footprint, because I think that was one of the things that bit me too, was by not being on FERT 1, fertilizer 1, I kind of got bit on my farming production. So finding out how to get that to work is key, you know. But I really enjoy the chickens. I think it's really cool that you could do chickens and eggs and you get the meat, you know, and then you can take the meat and you get the, you know, trimmings, and the trimmings you make the sausage. And then you got this cool little tofu thing, you know, where you just take soybeans and sulfur or limestone, which is crazy. Sulfur and limestone. Yeah. That's kind of, I think that's tongue in cheek, man. Cause like, but it's really cool because you're using like a waste product to make it. And then you get a little bit of animal feed out of it too. So it kind of helps your chickens. So that's cool. So I really enjoyed that. I like the metallurgy and the oil processing. I think is really cool. I think it's really neat that they got the recycling and the maintenance, the global maintenance, the recycling that gets kicked out of your settlement, recycling that gets kicked out of your maintenance operations. I think that's really cool. I really enjoy it. I would have liked to have restructured my belt base a little better. This is the first belt base I did for the game, so I learned a lot by doing that, and I'm really looking forward to doing another playthrough. And we'll get into that after I'm done here. We're almost done. Oh, one thing I wanted to note about the metallurgy was I wanted to get an arc furnace too, and I realized, it needs teraflops, so we wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. So one thing about this island that I don't like is it's not enough room to build and rebuild, because, as you're, like once you know the game and you've played it a bunch of times, you start to know where you can structure things and where you need to place stuff early on. I saw a player that built this way. And, here's copper here. Here's the coal. So you basically have to start, and here's iron, right? So you're not really given a lot of space between, and you have to have your farms over here. So it's possible that you could maybe walk this over, the farms over, put 2 habitats down, but then delete them. So you could push this way and then island build this way so that you have more room. I mean, that's an idea, but it takes a lot of maintenance and diesel to do that, like to basically island build is what you would be doing, So I suppose the positioning would have been, you have to play with some positioning. It'd be nice to have a creative mode where you could just plop stuff down and landfill, out to see how much you would need and what you could do without mining anything. What could I get out of this space, and if I have to create more. So yeah, oil processing fun is, oh my God, it was so much fun. I still am wanting to work the numbers to see, if I do 1 oil build versus 2 together, 1 oil build could do rubber, 1 oil build could do like ammonia, stuff like that. It kind of intrigues me. Uh-oh, the maintenance man needs maintenance. We really failed now. Oh, that's okay. Anyway. Oh, and then stone to gravel. This worked really well. This is something I figured out. I brought from my, test save that I did in, easy mode. And when I noticed how much sand I was chewing up, I'm like, wait a minute, we're getting all this stone and I'm just throwing it in the ocean. I could be using that. So, by doing this, and you can see, look at once I stopped, digging into the mountain, this here, every so often I dig into this and I set it up, which is why I set up the third maintenance, because I couldn't run anything on the side. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do any island building. So by collecting this stone here, it really helped, because the gravel and the sand and the stone were needed for our nuclear power and all that good stuff. So this is a pretty good idea here. I think that was a good call. But the problem is that, I didn't have enough maintenance to keep it going and keep chopping the island down, and get it flat or whatever. But, maintenance and diesel, that's what it takes. Let's see here. Oh, I like the power pole, no power pole concept. I think that's good. It's like a planet crafter where you just plop power down and you have power everywhere. I like that idea. I mean, I could take or leave power poles. I think power poles do add a fun element to the game, to any game, like Factorio, Satisfactory. Yep, Unity's gone. Oh, we actually built up a little Unity. Oh, now we're dying. Oh, 12 months. But yeah, no power poles. I like that idea. It's less to worry about. I don't mind it. But in games that do have the power poles, yeah, I'm okay with it, but that's fine. The maintenance, I really do enjoy the maintenance aspect. What kind of sucks about it is that once you start a game, it never stops. So it's constantly, you're constantly freaking out about it, right? What I'd like to see, though, I think something that I would like to see, and I understand why they have maintenance this way, but if you pause a building, I think that the maintenance should be, in my opinion, removed. Because you could do it out here, right? I can pause this sawmill, or like we did with the oil, the first oil. I completely paused it, and it needs 0 of 60. Now, I agree with that, but why not, if I'm trying to do something and save my island from going into a death spiral for maintenance specifically, I should be able to pause this building and the maintenance goes, stops being consumed, because I'm trying to stop something from happening. However, I do understand the concept of, well, it's raining, there's moisture in the air, there's dirt, particulates in the air, gets on things, has to be cleaned, has to be, parts have to be swapped out, wear and tear. Even if a building is sitting, it's still subject to the elements. So I do understand that, but I would like to see maybe some kind of mode where you can turn things off and go, okay, I can breathe. Okay, let me work on this thing here or whatever. But if they didn't do anything with it, left it as it is, I'd be okay with it because it's just it's a part of the game, But it was just my thought as to you have to rip a building completely up in order to keep in order to get rid of maintenance costs, right? Makes sense. So, but yeah, I love the recycling. Maintenance is fun. It does give an element of, urgency, sense of urgency. So it's kind of cool. Like I said, this game is like Oni with trucks, oxygen not included with trucks. So that's about it. I think I've covered it all. And I really did enjoy doing the medical 1 and 2. Even though I didn't get on medical 1 right away, I'm glad I waited for medical 1 and 2 together because I was able to do this Uber build here and get it all working. The poppies, it probably wouldn't have been that tough. It would have been 2 poppy farms. And then we could have, well, there's a lot of other stuff too, like I think we needed ethanol and all that other stuff. But it would still be a lot of farming. But I think it would be doable, So anyway, let's get out of here. I'm not going to save it. Exit to main. Quit. So let's talk about a new series. But there's a caveat. A caveat on this would be I want to wait for some potential new content. I'm hoping that they get on some other, maybe they release some, because right now they're just doing quality of life stuff and kind of getting the game up to more snuff for, like they're doing some fixes and things like that, adjustments and all that. But we're on version 048. So I have a feeling they're going to be doing more maybe in 5, like each major release is going to be some new features, right? So I'm hoping to see something new before I would start a new series. The question is, what map do you play? And I've looked at each one of these. I do not like the Golden Peak. I think this one actually should be here under You Shall Not Pass because this is so bad to build on. It is horrible. It's difficult. I think this is challenging. This is difficult. I think these two are reversed. Yeah, this is difficult for sure. Advanced, difficult. For skilled players who have more experience with the game already, requires planning and trade-offs. Yeah, for sure. This one is for players who are ready to fail and like to push their limits. Do not take success for granted. So, I've already kind of played around with this a little bit. And if you compare the resources to New Haven, just look at coal alone is 4,100 versus 1,700. That's more than double. Copper is 10.6, 1,400, more than 5 times. 80,000 oil versus 100,000, which is kind of interesting. You'd think there'd be more oil, but no. Dirt is going to be obviously more because of the flat area is 3,300, but the total is 55. So I think they're counting this and maybe the rocky and the beach and all that. But 3,300 versus 2,100, you have 1,000 kilometer more space to build in, which is pretty much up here, And even here, there's enough space to build a small little colony. And then you've got iron, which is 8,300 versus 1,400, which is about 4 times, maybe less. I would hope that they would have done more iron. Copper is, as you saw in this playthrough, wasn't really hardly touched. But iron, I went through just about all the iron, so I don't know what the hell is what the deal with that is. I don't know. Obviously, limestone and rock are going to be enormous. 7800, that's, you know, almost 4 times. The rock is basically 7 times. Sand is 8 times. Water is double. And wood is only 20,000 wood more, so that's not a big deal. So I like this here. There are some... the beginning game is going to be a slog. You're basically waiting to dig your way up into this area here. And then you have to reestablish your colony up here. So it's kind of a slow process. And I don't know how good of a series that would be. It would mainly be me sitting in front of the computer and waiting for something to report on in a video. So I don't know how that would go. Let me know your thoughts about this map in the comment section below. I looked at Curland. There's a huge million. See, the oil is 1.1 million. I think you get a little oil on this island, maybe 100,000, and then there's a huge 1 million oil patch in the middle, and you have to island build to it. I don't know if that's fun or not. Total is 5,500 kilometers. It's a big area to build on. I mean, you could build all around. You have to do some curves and stuff, but I don't know. I don't really care for this map. The beach, I think they throw you on the beach here. This got 3,400, you know. I'm looking for more space to build on is what I'm looking for. But this one looks kind of fun, but it has its trade-offs for a YouTube series. What I'd like to do is increase the chunks to 3. So that would be one setting I change, just because I'd like to see about island building some, you know, but I don't think that would be possible. So I might be, you know, shooting myself in the foot for performance on the computer. The other things I'd change is rainwater yield to 40% and weather less dry. And the reason for that is I think that the water is imbalanced in the game. And that's one thing I forgot to cover, is I think that water was a little imbalanced. I think they give you they don't give you enough water. And they only have the one fresh water, you know, groundwater pump thing that you have to find in the world, you know, exploration. So I can't see playing anything other than Captain and changing this to 40% and this to less dry. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section as well about a new series, you know, when a new series is ready to be started. Another thing I noticed when I looked at the resources, because I did go into this and I looked at it, was the ore mining yield is fine. That's fine. I think, where is it now? Is it back here? Oh, yeah, resource size. I think that if you look at this, it increases or reduces the size of the mineable resources. Ores, coal, limestone, etc. This means that will be more or less material to mine. Some sections of the map can't ignore this property for design reasons. Now, you get a iron and copper over here and limestone over here in the beginning, and you have to dig a little bit to get to it, and it's kind of tricky. I think I did a little test, and I think that I went 25% increased, but it doesn't. I don't think it's going to really help too much. It's going to extend your. The only thing it's going to do is extend a little bit longer to get onto the contracts, which is fine because I think we need to be able to build island in order to get boats, and you're really limited in where you could put your docks. You have to build dock space, you know. You're really not going to be able to fit any boats on anything here unless you build a dock, unless you build land. So you have to ramp down on the backside here and bring resources up, you know, all that. So let me know what you think of these settings I might kick this down to 2, or just leave it at 0 for that matter. But I have a feeling that I want it at least at 1. 25% resource size increase, and then the water increase for a new series. Because I'm not done playing this game. We didn't get to end game, and I want to launch a rocket and stuff. So let me know what you think about that. And if you watched the whole series or any part of it, I want to thank you for that. Leave me a comment below if you did. I'd appreciate to know that. That'd be kind of nice to know. And I'll see you in the next iteration of this. I'm going to keep going playing other games. So, keep looking at the channel, see if there's anything you like. And I'll see you in the next project, whatever that'll be. Have a good one. Captain Ghost, signing out.